Test will commence in 4 seconds.
In automotive research, the best way to learn how to make vehicles safer is to destroy them. And study the damage done to the dummies inside. But it turns out the dummies really only represent one specific type of driver.
Traditionally, we've had crash test dummies that are a mid-size male.
The male dummies are a holdover from the early days of crash tests, designed in the 1970s and have been in use since the 90s.
This is the dummy that began development in the year 2000 and still isn't finished.
New dummies can take decades to develop, in part because they're far more sophisticated than they appear, closely mimicking parts of the human anatomy, with dozens of data points.
This guy has between 120 and 150 different data channels.
But he's still a guy. And all these years of male-based data collection appears to have had an enormous impact on the safety outcomes of females in vehicles when compared to men. A new study about to be released by researchers at the University of Virginia has found the odds of a female sustaining a serious to fatal injury in a collision are now 73% higher than they are for a male. There are a few female dummies, but they're just scaled-down males, which don't really represent women at all.
Differences in fat distribution, differences in muscle strength. You have differences in bony alignment. The pelvis is different. I mean, there's just a huge number of things that suggest that females are not smaller males.
Carolyn Roberts is one of several researchers at the University of Virginia trying to pinpoint why women are more vulnerable in car crashes.
You have a 3-point seat belt. So how does that sit on top of the breasts? Does it move more easily if I lean out and now I have a more complicated chest geometry than a male? Is that problematic?
We don't know. She says there's never been a study on how breast tissue affects seatbelt placement. There may also be other reasons why women are more at risk.
Throughout the menstrual cycle, stiffnesses and joint ranges of motion change. So there could be a time during the menstrual cycle at which a female is more susceptible to injury.
At least one automaker is paying attention. Volvo studied 40 years of actual crashes and also found women to be more at risk. It's now sharing that data with other manufacturers.
The intent was to make sure we design cars that are safe for everyone. And of course, there's differences in males versus females, and that comes through, and that needs to be taken into consideration when you build the car.
That means paying more attention to gender differences when it comes to research and design, which should ultimately improve the safety of everyone. Aaron Saltzman, CBC News, Ruckersville, Virginia.
So as you heard, while the gender gap for automobile safety is glaring, when it comes to safety generally, model year matters for everyone. The researchers at the University of Virginia have looked at 17 years of crashes. For vehicles built in 2009 or later, the odds of serious to fatal injury were 55% lower than with older cars.